It's live 5. How you guys
Sunday.
doing?
Woo woo! We made it.
We did. We made it. And we're not sick anymore.
We made it another week.
I still have a little cough, but not bad. I think in church today I coughed once. So not bad. And we sat up front, so we didn't have to run to the back and sit in case I had a coughing fit. I had to run out.
Yeah, that's gotten way better.
That's way better, yeah.
But like I said, I know some people are carrying on with a bad cough for over 3 weeks.
Yeah.
So
it's going around right now in Tennessee. There was actually a county. I don't remember which one it was. Not this one. But there was a county they closed schools because they didn't have enough teachers because like 60% of the staff was sick and then the subs were sick. So
yeah,
they didn't have enough teachers.
They were disinfecting all the schools.
Yeah, so they closed the whole county. Well, I guess you have to do it by county. But that particular county, whatever it was, and it was probably up near Nashville. I don't remember. I don't recall.
I don't remember either. But that's pretty serious.
Yeah.
Like,
I've never known a county to close due to not enough teachers. That's crazy.
Yeah, it's hard to run any business when everybody's sick. I remember when I was at the post office during Christmas time at the Paddock post office branch, everybody was getting sick. So I came in with this big old bottle of vitamin C from GNC, the chewables, and I just handed them out to whoever would eat them.
I think it actually makes sense. If you have that many teachers out, obviously you can't teach the class, but all the students are probably sick too, and the teachers got sick from the students more than likely. And then, if you have that many people sick, then everybody needs to just stay home. I think that's better than closing schools because it rained or because it might snow and hasn't snowed yet.
I know I saw a lot of people posting memes of like back in the 70s with a school bus going through these big walls of snow, and it says schools open, and then it says 2025, and it shows a little bit of snow on the ground, not even covering the whole ground, and it says schools are closed.
It's like a frost.
So
a heavy frost.
Times have definitely changed. You can see that all around you with lots of different things.
But what's great about today is the weather is fabulous.
It is gorgeous.
We got up to 65 degrees and we have windows open. Not all the windows, but about half the windows are open in the cabin.
And what's nice is we can open our windows.
Yeah, we can open the windows.
That's super sweet.
Yeah.
So I'm loving it. It's like you could be sleeping in a hammock out there kind of day.
Oh, man. We were talking earlier and I'm sitting on the porch and the sun at this time of day comes in kind of at an angle and you can choose to sit in the shade or sit in the sun and be on the same porch.
And what a breeze was coming through. You got the birds chirping.
And you were taking off your sweatshirt out there because I think you were sitting in the sun.
Yeah, it was nice.
Yeah. Very nice.
I mean, I think I'm kind of in between needing it and not needing it.
This morning I saw a couple boats on the lake too, so there are people starting to move around out here.
I know, and this week is supposed to be gorgeous too, all week long.
We noticed too, today's Groundhog Day, and we noticed, I thought Puxatawny Phil was like the record of the Groundhog Day.
Like now the only one. Now there's like, they were talking about 4 different ones.
There's at least 4 different ones.
So I don't know what's going on.
And they're all giving a different forecast. It's like ridiculous.
It's a bunch of hoo-ha.
I think it should be Puxatawny Phil. That's the only one, the original one, and that's it. I think he
now there's a bunch of imposters.
I think he saw his shadow and ran back in. So 6 more weeks of winter, but that doesn't mean
some say yes, some say no. Right. It's a bunch of hoo-ha.
It's hoo-ha.
So, or as they say, it's magic.
I forget what the other ones were. One was in Long Island, Staten Island. Staten Island Chuck, I think, was one. And there was one in Illinois called, I don't remember. It was dumb. I mean, he's holding
I'm
alive.
only keeping track of Phil.
Yeah, Puxatawny Phil. I think he's up near Philadelphia somewhere.
All I know is when that one that you're talking about, he said that the winter was ending.
Right.
And the whole crowd went crazy, and that poor groundhog was
he
like,
started going because he's got him on his shoulder like this. So he's like this. I'm like, man, I wouldn't be holding that thing. Them things are nasty. They got these claws that go sideways, and they're kind of.
He was scared.
Yeah, I think he was scared. I mean, they usually don't bite, but they could bite if you scare them.
Well, anything could bite, or anyone.
Right.
I mean, there's people that bite.
There's people that bite. Yeah, it's crazy.
goodness. But it is just gorgeous. I'm looking forward to this gorgeous week. We are saying maybe we'll even get to take the boat out this week.
Yeah.
Wouldn't that be something after being cooped up for so long? But thank you all for joining us today on this gorgeous day.
We could have had the boat out right now if we weren't here. We're not blaming anybody. We could have scheduled that.
You wouldn't have had it out anyway.
It's a little chilly for the lake, I think.
But this week it will be warmer.
It's nice. It's nice when you go from 45 to 65. I mean, that feels like it's hot. Like I went outside this morning going, it's hot outside. She's like, I don't think it's hot.
He's like, let's ride the motorcycle.
Yeah, I think it's hot when you compare the last few days, and then the sun hits the side of the house and you're standing on the outside of the house and the sun's coming off the cabin. I thought right there in that moment it was hot.
I mean, we probably could have rode the motorcycle to church, but I wimped out. So I actually had some work to do on my phone, and it's kind of hard to do that on a motorcycle.
Yeah,
so
it's about a 20-minute drive.
That was my excuse.
20 to 25-minute drive to get to the church. So, that would have been, 25 minutes with the wind blowing. So it might have been a little more chilly than just standing outside the door. But it's still nice, and we'll take it.
Absolutely. I mean, every day that you get out of bed, no matter what the weather is a day you can say, God is good. I woke up again. I got another chance to show everybody his love.
Kathy says we could do a live from the boat, and we absolutely could. We've done a live for our members.
We did a members video or live out on the boat. We actually saw there's a waterfall around the corner once you get into the water, not too far from here. So we were talking to everybody, hanging out,
anchored off there
at the waterfall. Jenny says it's 81 degrees right now.
Okay, now that's hot. We don't want that hot.
Just to dial it back a little. Nice 70s, somewhere in the 70s, I think is perfect.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't mind it being that all year round.
My favorite is hoodie
That's my
weather.
request.
I like 50s and 60s. What it is today is perfect.
Yeah, 50s and 60s.
Because you don't have the bugs, you don't have mosquitoes, you don't have any of that. And it's not hot. You can actually go and do something, go walk in the park. And
I love going on a hike when it's like 60, 50. Oh, gorgeous. Yep. Maybe we could go on a hike this week.
Yeah, absolutely.
Got to do something.
Have to fit it in. So I did have my doctor's appointment this week. Was it Monday?
Got to see the specialist.
Monday or Tuesday. Got to see the specialist.
I think it was Tuesday.
Young guy, but man, he was kind of a whippersnapper. He seemed very...
A whippersnapper?
Yeah.
Wow, you sound old.
He seemed very knowledgeable. Like he goes, looking at this chart, and it has a section of the shoulder blown up, and he's pointing. He goes, because we took our disc from the MRI so he could read it. So he did. He read it and read the sheet and the report and looked at the disc. And he says, he explained on the chart on the wall in his office exactly what's going on. And he gave me a shot. The first doctor we saw, the internal medicine guy, who's our primary care manager, he gave me a shot too, but it was up in the top, and he did not get into the capsule. This guy says, well, that shot should have actually been from the back angle, and he did get into the capsule. So it's nice to see a specialist.
He was worth the drive. Right. It was like an hour drive.
It's like an hour drive.
It was in McMinnville.
It was, yeah.
But he was a good doctor. He knew what he was talking about.
So we did do a wave to Tug. No, we didn't see
As we
Tug.
were driving through McMinnville, we said, hey, Tug.
He lives in McMinnville, so we're like, hey, Tug, wherever you are. But so we just did a
see him walking down the street with his umbrella?
Yeah, we just did a funny shout out, that's all, to ourselves.
So what did the doctor tell you besides giving you a shot?
He said, follow up in 3 weeks, continue with your physical therapy. He didn't assign it. He said, continue doing what you're doing, as I described to him what I was doing and what I did in the old physical therapy. He said, all those things you still want to do. I said, I'm lifting weights. Am I okay doing that? He says, yes, that's great, but don't overdo it. And so there was one exercise he had me take out. So I don't do those anymore. And that's like with the dumbbells straight out, raising your arms up and out like that. He said that's a bit much on the shoulder, so He says, I would just limit that. Or I said, no problem. I'll just take it out. I mean, I've only been doing it a couple times anyway because it felt better. He says, yeah, it may feel better, but it isn't better. So be slow with it. He goes, anything down here that you want to lift, that's fine. It doesn't cause you any pain. And I actually did some overhead lifts, lightweight, pushing straight up.
I don't think he should have.
And actually the first couple reps were a little tight, but then by the second and third rep, it felt really good.
See, the problem too that happens is sometimes when people get shots and the inflammation goes down and they have a little bit more range and mobility, the person gets a little overly and does a little too much.
Yeah, so
which you have to be very careful and watch out. The range of motion is one thing, but once you start throwing on heavy weight, that's a whole nother situation. So if you are going to go do the range of motion, you need to keep the weight.
The weight was light. I think I only did 30 or 40 pounds. I just wanted to feel if I could do that range.
So what I heard the doctor say was that since you did the physical therapy already and it didn't really improve things as much as it should have, your options at this point is to either have surgery or to get the shot and come back in 3 weeks and see how you're doing.
So that's what we opted for.
So Brett got the shot and he's saying it's feeling much better because the doctor did say that sometimes on the MRI, there's damage in there that you can't even see on the MRI. So even when they go to do surgery at times, they have gotten in there and found out that it's much worse than they thought and barely attached, and they have to do something else. So you never know if that's going to be the case either. So obviously nobody wants to go get surgery. So opted for the shot, and we'll go back in 3 weeks and see where everything sits.
Yeah. And
at that point, if everything is good, then what?
He's going to kind of leave it up to me on whether we want to do surgery, and they go in there and they'll scrape it out. I guess. I think that's a yucky word, scrape. Like some people don't like the word moist. I don't like the word scrape when you're going in the body. Excuse me. But
I've had to have under my kneecap scraped.
Yeah, that's like nails on the chalkboard to me.
I wasn't awake. So.
That's what it is. I understand what he was doing.
But there was like
cleaning up
stuff.
Some of the inflammation and some of the scarring tissue is limiting the mobility. But I'm telling you, I'm leaning against, because here's how I look at it. If I'm 35 years old, absolutely, let's get it fixed. Let's go 100%. But I'm approaching 60. I'm 58. I'll be 59 this year. I don't need to be at 100%. If I can get 90, 95% out of this and I'm in no pain at all until I lateral move up above about right there. That's a lot of motion. And there's not often that I have to lift something directly overhead. And even I can go straight overhead. I can just do little modifications and get by in life and no pain. So why do the surgery? With surgery comes risk. He may fix it. He may make it worse. I mean, you don't know. There's risk. That's why it's called surgery. There's always a % chance of this, % chance of that. I can live with it the way it is. And I'm hoping it will be better in 2 more weeks. And I can go in there with confidence and say, hey, I'm just going to keep doing what I'm doing. Continue working out. We are active. We don't, sit on the couch all day and get stiff. When the colder temperatures and we aren't that active. And when I got sick, it was getting stiff. But now that we've been up, we went to the gym 3 times this week. I feel great this week. I think it feels a lot better. Now, is it perfect? No, I can still feel it, but it doesn't hurt. The threshold of pain is very small, and I can live with that. So that's where I'm at right now. We'll find out in a couple of weeks if I still feel the same way.
And thank you again for everybody's prayers.
Yeah,
we really appreciate that.
Mm-hmm.
Hello, Debbie. How are you? But yeah, I know a lot of people I've seen. Robin just had a complete knee replacement surgery 2 weeks ago. That's some serious stuff. I remember when I lived down south, one of my bosses had both her knees replaced at the same time. So you have to have somebody who stays at your house with you when that happens, because you need a caretaker. You can't do anything. So I remember she had a besides we worked at the library together, she had a pet sitting business. So I took over her pet sitting business while she was healing. But it is pretty serious when you have your knees replaced.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's pretty serious.
Yeah.
And your stepmom just had that done too in the
both
past
of them.
couple of years. She actually had that done so that we could go to Israel, because I went to Israel with her, and she knew there would be a lot of walking, and she had wanted to go. So she had that done, and it's a pretty serious surgery, but she went around walking in Israel perfect. So I'm so happy she was able to get that done and healed in time. And it was an incredible experience to be able to go with her, and I'll never forget that. So
I think she did one knee and then waited a little while and then did the second knee.
right, yep.
Not at the same time.
No, she didn't do hers at the same time, because it's pretty hard to do both of them. Like I said, at the same time, you really have to have a dedicated caretaker for that. So yeah, pretty serious.
I've been pretty fortunate in my life that I've never had any significant injuries or illnesses. I rarely get sick, but when I get sick, I'm usually bedridden sick for a day or two. This one was pretty bad. But I think there was a fever. We didn't check fevers, but I think we were in and out of fevers throughout the entire thing.
The first cold I got, I knew I had a really high fever, but I still hadn't found my thermometer from when we moved here. So by the time I felt better enough to go looking for it, my temperature was almost 103. So I don't know how bad it must have been when I was really feeling bad, because about 103 is pretty high still. So it must have been pretty up there. But I felt, it was rough.
Yeah.
I couldn't even eat or anything. That was awful. And I want to be done with that for the rest of the year, forever if possible. But,
Yeah, so what have we been up to? Well, we've been able to hit the gym this week pretty good. We did a couple of more DIY projects. We also visited.
There's no shortage of those.
We visited the Habitat for Humanity in McMinnville.
And that'll be tomorrow's video.
That's tomorrow's video, so look for that one. But
yeah, it's just been a lot of doing stuff around the house still. Now this week with the weather, we ought to better get out.
We did some.
Ought to better.
We don't know what's being released after Monday, but we've done some. We've installed another motion light over on the garage, so there's 2 over there now. We've also done.
Yeah, cold weather will make everything hurt. I know that.
We also got an upgraded mattress for the RV, and we're really stoked about that. That's going to be nice.
Yep. So now, after we get clearance in 3 weeks, hopefully, we can hit the road.
Yeah, and
with our new mattress.
We did a video with the mattress because we had to make a modification. As you know, it's a Murphy bed, so it goes up and down. It doesn't fold in half, so it goes up and down the whole mattress. It's a kind of a shorter mattress, so the headboard makes up part of the laying area. The headboard's about 9 inches, so the headboard being that it's lower than this 9-inch, so the stock mattress is 4-inch. We got it a 9-inch mattress. So it does have coils in it. So we had to raise the headboard up to the height of the new mattress in order for the bed to be able to tip under the headboard, or it would just hit the headboard and wouldn't be able to go up. So we had to do a modification with the headboard and raise it. And we did that, and we did a video on that. And
honestly, I just don't know why the companies can't do things right the first time.
Right, yeah.
Put out a good product. You're paying enough for it, but nope.
A lot of people really must have a lot of money to spend because these coaches aren't cheap. And then when they buy them, the first thing they're doing is they're replacing the generator because they think it's too loud. They're putting a new suspension kits on them, so you're spending another $5,000 to $10,000.
And you have to do a mattress because the mattress stinks.
The mattress, I understand. I mean, I get it. You spend a third of your life in bed, so that's an important thing, to have. But the suspension, I think it rides like a dream. I don't see a reason for a suspension.
I don't either. And we've been through some bumpy mess.
Some people were talking about the sway with the wind. Okay, well, that's very infrequent.
Yeah.
That's not that big of a deal. It's not every time you go out you're going to get a crosswind. So I wouldn't modify just for that. That's a temporary
I got better
situation.
things to spend my money on.
Right. And the generator, is it loud?
Like caramel filled chocolates.
Ours is they have
No.
propane and diesel generators. On the newer ones, they have the propane ones. I don't like the propanes; they're less efficient. Excuse me. We had the diesel one. It is a little bit loud, but after a few minutes, you don't even hear it, and so it's not worth ripping out a generator and getting another generator. I mean, that's a lot to do, the rewiring of all that,
And then they replace their batteries with lithium batteries.
And I'm not really sold on that either. If you do a lot of boondocking and you need a little more power off your batteries, or you're adding supplemental solar panels to the unit, because it does come with a 2,000 watt inverter and one solar panel. Some people want to be able to live off grid. Well, I don't think this kind of coach is something you want to live off grid with for a long period of time. I think it's a short term, night here and there. In fact, we went all the way to Alaska and back and didn't stay in a single campground. But if you're driving, you're charging the battery. So as long as you're moving and spend the night, moving and spend the night, moving and spend the night, you can do that forever. The solar panel only helps to trickle charge the batteries. It doesn't give them a full charge, and you can't run much on it. So I think the lithium is
Thank you, Kathy.
a little over the top because they're very expensive, and you have to rewire your whole coach. Some people want to put more than 2 in there. They want to put 3 and 4 in there.
Now, the one thing that they had done before we bought this was the extended fuel tank. And that is a blessing.
Yes.
It was especially great going up to Alaska because then you can plan to not have to buy the most expensive gas.
Yep. Because they only come with a 24.5 gallon tank. But if you upgrade to an aftermarket 47 gallon tank, then you're getting twice the amount of gas. And then there's a little dongle programmer you buy that reprograms the computer that says, okay, don't read the number of gallons based on the injection. Read the number of gallons based on the level in the tank. And so it reprograms the computer to look at the level of the tank, and that's more accurate. So I like it. I think that's been great. I got
a crazy hair. It won't behave.
You can pass a lot of gas stations and get to the ones you want to get to. So
but that I definitely think is a good thing to invest in if you are traveling, what you should be traveling if you have an RV.
Yeah, even pulling the Jeep, we're getting 12.5 miles per gallon. Now, if you're not towing anything, you can get up to 17, some people say. I haven't seen 17, but maybe if you're not pulling something.
Possibly. I don't remember when we went to the Keys. We didn't have the Jeep with us then.
And I didn't do much better. I think we got 13.5.
But I think it was real windy.
That too. Yeah, that fights your mileage pretty bad too.
Oh, everyone wants to see my lovely t-shirt.
Oh, your t-shirt.
Try to get it unwrinkled. It says, not perfect, just forgiven.
That's right. Remember, you don't have to be perfect. You just have to keep trying.
A little cross up there. My other cross was on top of it. I love this shirt.
Yeah, we got a bunch of those shirts. I wore the other one to church. So.
And it's a long sleeve, and it's not too thick, so it's really nice.
Just right.
And it's got pretty sunflowers, and who doesn't love sunflowers?
That's right.
I remember in Denellen, there was a whole field of sunflowers, and everybody would go do their pictures in the field and wedding photos, and it was just beautiful. It's just a whole bunch of sunflowers everywhere. Love it. So yeah, where are we going to go when we start traveling again? What are you thinking?
I was looking a little bit toward Texas because I think San Antonio has some interesting things to see.
That would be cool.
Lackland Air Force Base is there, and they have a campground. I forget the little Army base that's there, but I think they've combined them in name. They've changed the name. So,
what haven't they changed the name on?
I think they have a campground too. And then there's a little camp. I don't think they have a campground, but there's a little camp northwest of San Antonio When I was stationed at Fort Hood, we used to go to that little place. I can't remember the name. Camp Bullis. We used to go to Camp Bullis out in the field. And I was like, oh man, look, Camp Bullis on the map. I didn't realize where it was exactly. I thought it was more West Texas. I didn't know it was all the way down by San Antonio.
Did you say it's all good in the hood?
It's all good in the hood. Fort Hood. If it's still called Fort Hood. I don't even know. Probably not, because that was a Confederate general. So we got to change the name. But spend millions of dollars.
I've only been to Texas once, and it was for like, I want to say 2 days for a convention. So now, I'll be excited.
Fort Hood is a huge base. I think it's the largest base in the free world. It is for the Army anyway. And they had at one point, I think they had 11 swimming pools and 2 or 3 commissaries. I can't remember. I went to college at night while I was there at Central Texas College and University of Central Texas. And both of those campuses are located right there at Fort Hood, the main campus. So I went to a lot of the classes at night. I went to the main campus. I went to the classes.
Interesting.
So that was always, that was good. You felt like a regular student in a regular school with regular classes. But a lot of the classes you did go to at night, they were on the base, and there was a proctor, proxy, I guess, instructor. What do they call them? Adjunct professor would come on the base and teach the classes, which is going to be full of military and dependents. But going out to the main campus, you got regular students too. So it's kind of different.
College classes I took, I did when I was working at the post office in Ocala. I went to the college at night, so it was a very long day.
Yeah, especially after the post office.
Yeah, so I even missed, like one time they sent me back out because they'd always send me back out, and I had a final that day, and thank goodness my professor let me make it up. But I'm like, really? Of all the days, I got to be sent back out? Mm-hmm. Good times.
Yeah, you never know when you're going to get off at the post office.
That's why they always said don't make plans, because the second you make plans.
Yep, 5 o'clock don't mean nothing to them. That's when you're trying to get off by.
I've delivered in the dark many of times, especially during the holidays when it gets dark so early. You're out there.
That's why you had a headlamp.
And you have to wear a headlamp, and then you have people standing out by their mailboxes, like looking at their watch, be like, "Hey, what took you so long to get here?" And it's like, excuse me,
there's 850
this is my
other stops before
second
yours.
or third route I'm on today.
Right.
I'm just out helping somebody else.
Right.
And they just get so snippety.
Or you still wouldn't have your mail.
I used to tell them when it was Christmas time, I said, well, I was just waiting for it to get dark so I could look at all the beautiful Christmas lights. And they'd be like, and then I'd drive off because they didn't know what to say to that.
You have to carry a high flashlight to look for numbers.
Yeah.
If you don't know the route like the back of your hand.
Especially in the postal trucks, the LLVs, because there's not much light inside.
And the light and
it's terrible.
The cast light, the headlights on those things are terrible.
Yeah. I don't miss that much.
You can't see nothing.
A little
it's like you're driving blind. You're like this.
Little cray.
And then you're trying to find numbers.
And then you're going up to people's doors and it's pitch black and they're thinking they're getting robbed. So you're worried you're going to get shot. And it didn't matter if you're in a uniform or in a mail truck or anything like that. They still would come out like at you. And it's like, I just have your package. Don't shoot.
Or they'd say, you got my check.
Fun for everyone.
Yeah, it can be dangerous being a mail carrier. You don't want to be out there after dark.
Certainly. You can get attacked by dogs,
all
kinds of stuff.
Some people, they're real quick to shoot somebody. They don't even know why.
Mm-hmm.
But
shoot first, ask questions later. Right?
Let's send some prayers out too. Keeping our hearts and minds, and pray for those families that were affected by the deaths of the airplane collisions. There was one in Philadelphia, hit an apartment building, and then there was the one that everybody's probably heard of is the airplane and the Black Hawk helicopter collided in D.C.
Yeah.
And everybody,
so sad.
Everybody perished. No one survived that.
What a loss. I pray for all the families who have to deal with that.
Mm-hmm.
So
that's
sad.
Got to be hard. And I did a little reading on that. The pilots of the helicopter, They were pretty experienced. You had a captain who's probably got 2 to 3 years of experience flying, maybe 4 years of experience. Depends on how senior she is. She can be a captain for 4 or 5 years. And then the other guy was actually the warrant officer too. He was the pilot in command. So he was the one that is in charge of her in that aircraft. Even though she outranks him, he has the experience. So she had about 500 flight hour time, stick hours they call it, or flight hours, and the warrant officer had about 1,000 hours, and it was a routine training pattern that they did. So I can't speculate as to what happened there, but
I don't know, but it's so sad.
It
All
was-
those lives lost, and then all the people
I know they were
affected by it.
I know they
from
had
those
night
lives.
vision, and they were talking about night vision, but let me tell you about night vision devices. Everything in a night vision device is green. There's no contrasting colors. It's all green. It's light green and dark greens. So it's really hard to differentiate spacing orientation. It's real hard to differentiate depth perception until you run right up on it, and then it turns dark green and it's right here and it's too late. But with all the lights in that area, with night vision goggles, if you have even just a little bit of light, like a flashlight goes across your view, it blinds you like the sun. You can't take any light with those things on. It hurts your eyes. So they're very sensitive to light. So I don't understand the night vision around an airport that's got running lights, and you got air traffic with lights, and you got the city lights. I can't see how you would see anything with night vision devices, because you can't really, they have a little adjustment unless they've changed in the last 10 years. And I'm sure they probably have gotten better.
Everything changes.
Yeah, but you could adjust them a little bit to bright and dark, but you can't cut out white light. White light is just like the sun.
I don't like driving at night, so I couldn't even imagine flying.
So if they're doing night vision flights, which they have to do, that's a requirement. I just don't understand doing it in a city where there's all those lights. Like that's crazy. Because in a real combat environment, you're not going to be fighting in the city like that with helicopters so much. Not with night vision. You're going to be out over like the deserts, and there's no light. So that's when you would use it mostly.
Mark was saying there was a close call in Houston this morning.
Was there?
A flight aborted before takeoff due to engine fire. No injuries.
Well, that's good.
Yes, say prayers for all those people, their families.
And make
so
sure
sad.
we're vetting these control tower. My cousin's husband was an air traffic controller for 30 some years. I don't know if she's watching. She won't comment in the chat normally, but sometimes he watches, sometimes he doesn't. But he was an air traffic controller for a number of years, and he thinks it has a lot. Now, this was his personal thoughts, but I'm hearing a lot about it when I read about it in the news too, is they don't have enough qualified air traffic controllers to fill all the positions. Like there was supposed to be 30 slots at this Reagan International, and they only had 19 active traffic controllers. And at the time, they're supposed to have one for the aircraft, one for the helicopters. And I read there was only one, and he was going between the two. And so that can get to be a lot, I would think. Now, I can't speak personal knowledge, but he would say they oftentimes worked shorthanded because they couldn't find enough qualified help.
Yeah, I think a lot more people are going to be driving instead of flying, because that is a little frightening.
I still think flying is generally the safest way to travel. Now, when you're near an airport, that's space A, controlled airspace, and then it goes up in a cone, right? And then it goes out. So that helicopter, I think, should have been either higher or lower. But if you want to get out of the controlled space, it should be lower than the flight pattern going into the airport.
Thank you, Jason. You're too sweet.
Jason.
We love you.
Thank you.
Said we need some super chats, and hit that like button, please.
At least hit the like button. That helps the algorithm. We appreciate that, and it costs you nothing. So you get on there, hit the thumbs up. We appreciate that very much.
And we'll be saying some prayers, Sandy, for your husband. I know that must be super painful. is recovering from kidney stone surgery, and he still has very high pain levels.
Oh, Jason sent us a picture or video. I can't remember now. I think it was an F-35 jet up there at Eielson Air Force Base. We visited Eielson, and the pilot had to eject. He was trying to get the F-35 back to the base because it was having some problems, and he didn't quite make it and had to abandon the aircraft, and $80 million aircraft. But hey, they saved his life. He ejected, and he lived to tell about it. So probably more NTSB investigation about that too coming out.
Yeah, definitely send prayers and love to the first responders.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they're on it, especially rescuing people out of the Potomac River. That's not easy. And
Lori said the helicopter's only supposed to be at 200 feet, and it was at 325.
That could, I didn't read that, but that could very well be. That's all gonna come out, because everything's recorded. I know there was dialogue between.
Everybody's got breaking news, Slug.
I know there was dialogue.
Spill the beans.
I know there was dialogue between the tower and of the Black Hawk, and then back, and then again, more confirmation. The tower's trying to reach him again, no response. Trying to reach him again, no response. So I don't know why there was no response on every time the tower reaches out, especially during a live situation. So yeah, more on that. I'm not going to talk more about that because I don't know anything more. Hey, so let's give the Trespass 5 update, shall we?
Sure. What are you going to tell us?
Well, probably not telling you anything that you don't already know. In fact, you may know more about it than we do. But reading the docket, it's been moved.
Does anybody know that it's a frivolous lawsuit?
It's been moved, and we can discuss why, because I don't get it. But
yeah, so it's been moved to April 16th,
April 16th
at 2 p.m.
Same time, 2 p.m. And the whole reason it was deferred or moved back was because of Attorney Scott's health. But I have a couple of arguments with that. One, his health has been like that for a while. I don't think it just happened the day of February 5th. Or didn't he do a deposition by Zoom? Can he not?
Yeah, see, that's what I didn't understand is
Right.
our hearing was by Zoom.
Right.
And if he could do a deposition,
By Zoom.
then why can't he do the hearing by Zoom?
Right.
The other one I understand a little bit more because it would have required driving.
The other case, yeah.
Yeah, so the thumbnail case would have required driving, but why wouldn't you just get the other one out of the way by Zoom? Because if you could attend a depo, why can't you attend a Zoom hearing?
Yeah.
So that makes no sense to me.
I would think the courts would want to get these done.
Yeah, don't they have a lot of stuff going on?
But you wonder why these dockets get full, and then like the federal case, what is it going to be, like a year out? It's because they keep meeting and rescheduling and meeting and rescheduling and meeting and rescheduling for every little tiny thing.
I mean, it's a sad situation in our court system that you're just clogging it up with frivolous things and continuing it when there's probably
real crimes,
real stuff
that are
going
not being
on that has
adjudicated.
merit.
Right.
I mean,
I don't know.
I was shocked to see that. And then I'm thinking, if I was the judge and I continued to list the defendants and the plaintiffs incorrectly, why would I approve that? I mean, obviously this person doesn't know what they're talking about or what they're doing. So to me, that piece of paper would have no merit because it's incorrect. And
Right.
How many times are you going to submit it incorrect?
It's still not correct.
Right. It still lists the
Lynette
wrong defendant.
as the defendant. Yes.
So if I was a judge reading that, I'd say, well, I'm throwing that out because it's not even
it's still
correct.
not correct. Go
If
back
you
and
can't
reread
fill
it.
out the forms correctly, then
I don't know what to do for you.
so I just do not understand it at all. It just, to me, it was insane that you're even allowed to file these frivolous lawsuits.
You kind of feel sorry for him in a way, and in a way not. On one hand, you feel sorry for him because this was just dumped on him. It's not even him writing all this. But in another way, I don't feel sorry for him because now that he's got his name on it, it's prudent of him to read it. I don't think he read this case at all. I don't even think he's read what his name is on. I don't think. Now, I can't speak for him, but in looking at what I've heard, I don't know how he's read it and to come up with some of the deposition answers he came up with and the way that it was filed and everything on it's wrong. And I don't know how he could have read it.
So are they continuing these things just to keep creating content?
That's what it sounds like to me. They need content. These other smaller channels need content. They can't create their own content. So they have to jump on and latch on to what everybody wants to watch.
I don't feel sorry for someone who's not doing their job diligently. That's where I sit on it.
Yeah.
They signed up for it. If they didn't know what they were getting into, then they should have done some research.
Or they should have said no.
And figured it out.
Or they could have said no. They could have said, no, I'm not going to represent this case.
I mean, ain't nobody feeling sorry for any of the people who were just doing something to help out a human being.
Right.
So I wouldn't feel sorry for somebody who's trying to nail you to a wall.
No one feels sorry for the people that have these sizable channels because they think they're making all this money. I'd like to know, one, where is all that money they're talking about, or they think or perceive money? One, it doesn't matter how much someone makes or how much someone has or how much someone you think has. It's about what's right and wrong. It's about who's doing this and who's doing that.
Yeah, I agree, Karen.
That's the only thing it's about.
If a person's not able to do their job, they should be removed from that position. I agree. It's just like a judge who is biased.
He shouldn't be on the bench.
They should not be on the bench because they are making decisions that affect people's lives in a very serious manner.
Yes.
So if they cannot do those jobs properly without bias, they absolutely should not be in those positions.
And I always held the law into kind of a high regard. I always thought there was a lot they needed to know. But as a lot of the police that came out and talking about evictions of the trailers that we need to get out of the park, and they said it was a civil matter. No, it's not. They don't know the rules. They don't know the regulations. A lot of the times when they come out, they don't know. They're just enforcing, they're trying to enforce law. But a lot of times they don't know the law. If they think an RV park in Florida is like having a hotel, they're wrong. There's absolutely not. There's RV park laws and that pertain to RV parks. And then there's hotels. They're different. They're very different. I can remove an RV from my RV park. I can. I don't need their help. And I don't need
Melanie,
a civil court.
I've wondered the same thing. If he's that sick, why take the case? I wonder the same thing.
Right.
I mean, health problems are serious, and I'm not knocking anybody for health problems, but if you can't do the things that you need to do, why would you take that case if you're that sick? Honestly.
Right.
That makes no sense.
Now, if it's just about the cataract surgery, if you're zooming in, you don't even have to need to see. His wife is his paralegal, so she can make sure that he gets zoomed in. And then all he has to do is respond to the voice, and she can assist with that. You don't have to see it all. You can put on a mask. So I don't get any of that. So, I mean, I don't know. I don't get it. I guess I don't have to get it. I just do what I'm told. So I guess April 16th, which is what, tax deadline? April 15th? It'll be the day after taxes.
Tracy says they want to be able to do more fundraisers. Probably.
Yeah, that's all it's going to do is extend the saga. It puts everybody in limbo so everybody can talk about everything they want to talk about. And I'll tell you, the more of it that goes on, the less of it we watch. Because we don't watch all the channels, and we don't watch any of the channels through their entirety. Like, we get bits and pieces, and we live our life. That's what we came to Tennessee to do, is to get away from that mess, to live our life.
They don't want to let us get away from it.
They don't.
They threw out that
anchor
fishing line and trying to reel us back in.
Yeah, I mean, we don't cover a whole lot of what's going on. Yeah, it would help the channel and it would boost the numbers, but you're giving YouTube a false algorithm because that's not what your channel's about. Your channel is about Madam Mayor's adventures. So it's about anything that we want to talk about that we deem as an adventure. Now we'll talk about this case as it pertains to us, but we're not going to jump on the bandwagon where 8 other channels are already talking about this case, 6 Ways to Sunday. Why do we need to jump on it? Like, is it just to get the views? Then y'all can keep the views. Y'all can have it. We're going to stay with our algorithm and we're going to talk about Madam Mayor's adventures. And eventually we're going to get back on the road as soon as we get these health issues taken care of. And we're out of here. We're going to go have adventures. That's what we wanted to do, was retire early and go have adventures. This was our golden years plan, was to travel and see the world. So that's what we're going to do. So, I mean, if everybody else,
The planet?
the whole planet,
You want to see the planet?
I would like to do some, a cruise ship. Like,
I know we were
We-
talking about that
and
last
we
week.
looked at it for a while.
I want to go. Yeah, because
and then-
Mike was
yeah,
talking about going on a veterans cruise. So I'm like, yes, let's do that. So I'm looking, checking it up.
Yep.
I give you the information, then nobody
And then
says
I was-
anything, and
I
then
was trying to
everything
coordinate
got
with him, but I
booked up.
wasn't getting any response.
so everything was gone, and I'm like, well,
And-
that's gone. So
then
how about we
waiting.
just go on a cruise
We're
ourselves?
just doing our own thing. Then we can't
And,
wait on people.
Because like this year we have a 5-year anniversary coming up. So
Yeah.
why not? We never did go on a honeymoon.
Yeah.
So why not go on a cruise? And that could be like our anniversary honeymoon.
I'll take you on a cruise, baby.
When
How's
are you
that?
going to book it?
Whenever
you can't just
book it.
say it whenever I book it.
Well, you do a lot of the research, and then I comment. But I was looking at them too at different times.
So we better get back, or
So,
I better get
you
back
got to get back
on
on
looking at that, because I really would like to pull the trigger and
Mhm.
book up a cruise.
Yeah.
Because that would be fun. I've never really been on one.
I've never been on one.
I've only been on a party cruise once out of Fort Lauderdale, and that just goes out a little bit, and there was gambling and all that, and then you come back, it's really
A
nothing.
lot of these cruises go out for 2 to 6 days, and they hit Mexico. And I'd like to go on a cruise to a place that most people don't go. I like to go, like when I got stationed in the military, I enjoyed going to places people don't get stationed, like Turkey. Most people never saw Turkey.
I know I've eaten some.
Korea, a lot of people have seen Korea, but more people had been to Germany back in the 80s. Everybody had been to Germany. So Germany didn't interest me. I don't want to go. Everybody's been to Germany. We at one point had more U.S. forces in Germany than we did in the States.
I like going to Germany.
I think it would have been fun. Yeah. So I was misperceived on that. But I like going to those little places that nobody goes. Like,
I want to go everywhere.
I went to a little place called Çakmaklı, Turkey. 70 people. That's all that's there. 2 hours from Istanbul. There's nothing around you. That's neat. I think that's
Cruise
neat.
ship mama says, I love cruising. Well, I guess you have to with a name like that. And I've
Yeah.
heard such great things. I really want to go.
I'd like
She
to go.
said,
Yeah.
I did a cruise to Russia and towards St. Petersburg.
St. Petersburg. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. I'd like to go on like a 6-month cruise. I'm not against doing
Take a trip to Norway. That would be so much fun. A 6-month cruise.
Yeah.
Oh,
it. We
sign
just
me
pack
up.
it all up and let's go.
Sign me up.
We don't
baby.
have pets. We don't have kids living at home. We have nothing tying us. We can button this place up and be out of here within the hour. Actually, if we had to leave within an hour, wheels up, we could be wheels up.
All right. Let's do it. Let's do it, baby.
The hustle would be getting the RV repacked, clothes and food, and
I can make this happen.
yeah, we can make it happen.
So yeah, I guess I got my research to do because I really
Research,
want to
yeah.
go on a cruise.
And they got them going out of Texas too, so we could include that out of Texas. They have port near Houston.
Interesting.
Most of them are in Florida, but you know.
All right. Well, I guess I better get on it.
That's right.
I already have it on my list, so I don't have to add it to my list.
So I'm going to subject hop here a little bit. So
Oh, no.
we've been hearing questions if we were going to sell whatnot. Okay.
Sell on whatnot.
Sell on whatnot.
We don't own the platform. We can't sell it.
You're correct.
I wish I did.
Yeah, it'd be nice. Then I would probably sell it. No, we're not interested in doing whatnot. Why? Because kind of binds you to the house. It's hard to do Whatnot from an RV. We don't have the space, nor are we going to try to take a whole bunch of trinkets with us to sell on Whatnot. It's just too confining to us. We want to be able to go and do whatever, whenever, change our plans from here to there. We
got to be a little different than everybody else. It seems like everybody else is doing Whatnot these days. Plus, I don't know what states you're required to have an auctioneer's license in.
Yeah.
So I don't know if you need one in Tennessee.
I don't know.
I don't know how any of that works, but yeah, it definitely ties you down to a place. And while I think it's pretty cool, all the people who are selling on Whatnot, kudos to them. I like watching the different auctions and seeing what people have, but no, we don't plan on selling on Whatnot. We're not in one place long enough to get tied into all that.
It's time consuming because you got to go to the auctions. You got to win the auction. You got to bring the stuff home. You got to clean it out. You got to set it up. You got to sort it in order to do it.
It's a lot of work.
It's a lot of work. It's a full-time job by itself. And we want to do Madam Mayor's Adventures, and Whatnot doesn't fit in with our plan.
And I don't know then if I would have to go get an auctioneer's license, and then that's just more stuff I have to do. And it just doesn't fit into
which I wouldn't be
what
opposed to doing
right now.
But that's not what we want to do.
I love auctions. I love hunting for treasures and doing all that stuff, but we'll just leave that to the people that are already doing it and cheerlead them along.
Yep.
So yay. Keep going, guys.
Cheerleaders.
So, but they're fun to watch. And someone asked, how is our fan working? It is doing great. It's spinning right now.
Somebody had wanted us to include it. Is it working? Yeah, it's working.
Yes.
It's on right now.
I have not hung any clothing up there to let it spin and fly all over the house.
Done that.
It is doing some beautiful work, pushing air. It's going to be great, especially during the summer, I think, and keep it cool in here.
It's done well when we had the heater on those few days. It was really cold. It was heating the whole cabin. So,
Kathy says, is it soapbox time?
It could be, but first we got to do mail.
Oh, so sorry. Mailman, you got my check?
I got your check, lady.
You got my check?
I got your check.
Woo!
So we only have one item today, and big thanks go out to Jason.
Jason, we love you.
Once again.
I can't believe it. When I opened it, the first person I thought of was Jason. I'm like, this has Jason written all over it.
She guessed it before she saw it.
And then I saw the little Amazon note that it was indeed from Jason. And I'm like, oh, he's so sweet.
So the nearest Texas Roadhouse to us is in Murfreesboro. I think they're only open for dinner, though. I don't think they're open for lunch.
Oh, sounds like we'll have to do a little dinner trip.
We might have to do a dinner trip. But we are going to be in Murfreesboro for our eye appointment on Valentine's Day.
Ooh, how lovely.
But it's kind of a late morning appointment, and I don't think they open till 4. But we'll check on that. If not,
that just means we'll have to go back again.
We'll just have to go back.
Darn.
But thank you, Jason.
Thank you, Jason. We love you so much.
A lovely gift, and we appreciate
You're the most sweetest person.
We will definitely put that to good use, and we'll send you some pictures.
I wish I could give you a big hug. Happy Valentine's Day.
Maybe if he send down some moose meat, you'll get a big hug. We make some chili, but it wasn't moose chili. But it was good, but it wasn't as good.
Yeah, it wasn't the same, that's for sure.
No.
But that's why I just have fond memories of Alaska and Jason and his beautiful family. Oh, you
They're
drive.
off to the next
you
address.
Just drive around like a crazy mailman.
That's what they do.
I'm surprised you didn't throw the gift card at my forehead and sling it like a real mailman.
I gave you your check, lady.
Bam! Woo!
So our soapbox segment is going to be, you probably think it's going to be about, and it was, and I changed it. It was going to talk about more about the lawsuits and whatnot, but we decided to deviate off of that. We've already addressed what we know, and we're only going to report firsthand what we know. Oh, we could talk real quick about these signs. because we have talked about them before.
Signs,
And they seem to be a
everywhere,
revolving
signs.
door of discussion about these signs. So let me please clarify
That's
some of
just
this.
because they need content, so they keep picking it
Well,
back
let's give
up.
them some content. How about that? We were on our way to work when we saw these signs. They were on the corner of our property on State Road 24 and 3rd Street. It's a corner, the corner lot. Our house is on that corner. From the house, you can't really see that corner because there's some trees in their way. But as we were leaving, we would not have seen the signs had we not been up early on Sunday to go to work. We worked at the Chiefland Post Office delivering Amazon packages for the post office. Every Sunday morning at 7:30, actually about 7, we leave to meet, to go over there to pick up the vans, sign, there's some paperwork there you have to do when you get the vans in. We had to drive them to Williston, pick up the parcels, bring them back to Chiefland, and then deliver them. And then gas up the vans, put them back, deliver the keys. That's what you got to do. That's the job. There's 3 of us every Sunday that did that. Us 2 always, and then there was always one other of the regular carriers rotated their shift on Sunday. So having said that, I'm getting off point. I don't know. But anyway, so we were on our way to Chiefland to go to work. We were in the Jeep, not in the golf cart at that time. We drove by and we saw the signs. At first, I thought it was some kind of political ad signs because that's normally what they put on the corner. But I don't like them near my Shady Oak sign because they distract the view from the Shady Oak. So I was going to move
Those
them.
were not as on the corner,
Right.
though, as political signs. It was more
It was
in
more
our
in the
yard.
yard. Yeah, it was more in the yard. So I really didn't realize what they were until we got out of the Jeep. I was going to get them to move them over onto the other corner where the political signs normally are. But I was like, look at what this is. Look what it's saying. Like, I didn't even realize when I stopped what they said.
Hey, Spawn Trooper.
So we grabbed, how many was it? 2, 3, 4, something like that. Not more than 4 signs, I think. They were all right there together. I think there were pictures taken. I don't know that all the pictures have been released, but they'll come out in due time. We took pictures, and then we were putting them in the Jeep, and we took pictures. And we were going to take them with us to work because we're on our way to work. We have to be there at a certain time. We can't be looking for Jeremy at that point, although we did contact him and told him that we found the signs. And he wasn't there. He was in Ohio at the time. We didn't have time to go hunt down Deanna to give them to her or anything like that. So we were going to take them to work and then deal with the signs when we came back. On the way out, down State Road 24, you come up to about a half a mile and you come up to State Road 1998. You turn left to go to Chiefland at that blinking light. That's where we saw Zim. So we weren't looking for Zim. We came across Zim. Zim was storing more signs. He had more signs than we did, and he was storing them in his, I think he was in his truck, wasn't he? I don't know if he was on his golf cart or in his truck. I can't remember, but he lives right there on the corner. And he had a whole collection of signs. And I said, well, can we pass these signs off to you? We're on our way to work. Since you got most of them, we'll just give you these few that we have. He said, sure, I'm going to get them over to Deanna. I said, okay, here are the signs. Boom. And we left. It was probably a 1-minute interlude, and then we left because we got to get to work. We're in a hurry. We're in a rush. We got to get to work. So this all happened very fast. We had those signs for maybe 3 minutes, and we passed them off to Zim on our way to work. And we just happened by him. We didn't go to his house. He was collecting the signs, so we threw ours in with his. That's how that happened. So I don't care what other people think happened. That's what happened. So we did affidavits to the such, and we will.
So my soapbox segment is about, I don't like when men leave heavy weights on the gym equipment.
This is the soapbox, the subject that we'll get to. We'll get to that right now. So we were at the gym this week, and she wanted to do the leg press, and some guys left 100-pound weights on the leg press.
Yeah, so there was 200-pound plates on there, and I've had that problem before, and I cannot move those myself, and that's a real pet peeve of mine. So then I got to get him to remove them, so I have to bother him during his workout, and I just wish people would return the weights to the proper place.
And that's proper weight protocol. And there's signs on the wall that say that.
Yeah, but every time we go in there, those 100-pound ones are on that
They're
machine.
always on the machine.
So I usually skip that one leg press and go to a different machine. But I'm like, you know what? That one does a better job. And you get more benefit from that one. So I had to go bug you. So that's my big pet peeve.
Yeah, and it's no bother. I mean, she thinks she's bothering me, but it only takes a few seconds. But the pet peeve is if you're going to use weights, that's great. We encourage it, but put the weights back on the rack, especially those 100-pound disc weights. They're not easy to move around. And
I'm no bodybuilder.
If a smaller person or, a younger lady wants to get on there and can't move the weights, they can't use the equipment.
That's pretty heavy.
So be kind, be courteous, put the weights back on the stack. The stack is on the leg press machine itself. So it's no big deal. You're moving it from here down one. So it ain't a big deal to put those weights back. It ain't like you got to walk them across the gym or something. So she needed me to take the 100 pounds off and put the 45s and the 25s on.
I mean, maybe one day I'll be strong enough to move those.
Well, probably pretty soon. You almost lifted that anyway. And then you want to put equal weight on equal sides. So there was a 100-pound disc on the other side too. So,
and believe me, I can feel that machine because my legs are still hurting from that machine. But tomorrow I got to weigh in, and I might have found out that I ate too much this week.
Oh yeah, tomorrow's weigh-in day.
So we'll see how that goes. But it's all good. Even when you mess up, you just got to pick yourself back up and get on the wagon.
Yep, I'm looking over my notes here. I think we've touched on everything. Oh,
yep. Good instructions for life. Be kind, be courteous.
Oh, people are commenting about the Otter Creek website, Facebook page. The last time we looked at it.
Oh, yeah. I'm going to check right now because somebody said, oh, they have one.
They have one. They have one, but it's not working. Nothing on it is clickable and it's not active. It's just a page. So whoever says that they have one, yeah, but did you click on anything? Like, is there a calendar? Can you click on it?
Because nope. I want to be able to see.
They said they can pay their bills
minutes,
online.
The
I
agenda.
don't think they can. I didn't see any toggle switch on the page where you could pay online. They said they were going to do it, but again, we're 2 months later and they still haven't done it. So
I don't see that they have a Facebook page.
Yeah, so I don't know. If you see it, send it to us because we can't find it. And if we can't find it, the residents ain't going to be able to find it either.
Oh, that's funny.
There's a lot of other Otter Creek.
It's funny, the things that pop up.
But none of them have to do with the town of Otter Creek.
Nope, none of them have to do with the town. Let's see.
Nope.
Let me check out the progress of their webpage. Otter Creek welcomes you.
Yeah, show what it says. Click on one of them.
Meetings and events.
There's 3 toggles.
Loading Google Calendar. It's a calendar that tells me absolutely nothing.
Yep, so there's a calendar. You can click on calendar and the calendar is empty.
Let's see. I
What
see nowhere for.
So fair housing has a toggle, online payments. Click on online payments.
Coming soon. This feature is currently under development.
So if you're considering that to be a working web page, I don't. I disagree. I think that's non-working web page and it's not working. So those are the 3 toggles you have under their web page. Well, not, yeah, their web page. But none of them are doing anything. So is that a functioning web page to you?
Not unless I need something to tell me that Otter Creek welcomes me.
So
tools and resources.
I guess that's another pet peeve.
Useful services and information.
If you're going to say something, have checked it first before you say it.
And then even when you click under the minutes,
Mm-hmm.
It says select a year to get started.
Okay.
2024 says coming soon.
Coming soon. It's not loaded.
2025 coming
soon.
2023 coming
coming
soon.
soon. And that's where it starts, 2023.
Agendas is the same thing.
All the agendas for the 22, 23,
Minutes,
24. Those are the
agendas.
3 years they have on there, and none of them are loaded.
I was hoping that you could go on there and look up the agendas. You could
Right.
look up the meetings and do all that. I mean, they're paying a company for that service.
I don't know why they're paying them. They haven't done nothing.
Becky says, happy Sunday.
Hey, Becky, member for 8 months. We appreciate that.
Thank you. We appreciate all our members. I know this week what we were just chatting away again.
Mm-hmm.
I think we were chatting for over an hour with everybody this week.
Yeah.
Well, Belinda's not the one who's supposed to maintain the web page. They're paying a company to do it. I understand that Belinda doesn't have the time for that. That's why they hired a company to do it.
And nobody in the office has the technical expertise to set up a website anyway. They
I think it's sad that this company is charging them money and then not doing what they said they were going to do. That's the disturbing point. I don't blame Belinda.
Yeah, I don't blame
or anything
her.
like that. I blame the company that has charged the town money and not done what they said they were going to do. That's where the blame lies.
Now, if Belinda doesn't go back and follow up with them and make them do what they're supposed to be doing or hold them accountable, then some of that could fall on her. But we don't have knowledge of that. That could be happening and we don't know. So we can't speak to that.
You know, but they were at one point trying to hire an additional part-time clerk besides Belinda to help her. And I don't know whatever happened with that because it is a lot of work that Belinda does. And it was a tremendous amount of work for her to get everything straightened out.
Just getting it organized was a full-time job.
I absolutely give her kudos for that.
Yeah.
But I thought she was going to be able to get some help at one time. I don't know whatever happened to that. They don't talk about it. So
yeah. So
I
believe Laura Mott she is tech savvy enough to probably set that up. I know she has set up a campaign account before because I've seen her on it.
But you don't know that she set that up.
But I guess you're right. I don't know that she set that up either. So I would have asked her or maybe tossed it to her and say, hey, can you do a little bit of work on this? Are you able to do it? Do you want to try to do it? I don't know that happened because all that doesn't come out in the meeting. So a lot of this we don't know.
I mean, you're talking about things you're assuming,
right?
But you don't know that she has any more knowledge than to click the like button on Facebook.
That's true.
Or upload a photo.
I don't have any personal knowledge of what she technically knows. That's true. So,
but that's all about that. It's shameful that company is okay with taking money.
Oh, they all are. For
a job they haven't done.
It's hard to find good help. It is really hard to find good help.
But I would absolutely be on top of that with either trying to get a refund or something, because it stinks that they could have the agendas and the minutes online, and I still say that they should have their own YouTube channel and be streaming the meetings, and that would cut out so much drama and fuss from everything. So I'm not sure, because that's not hard to do either. So I'm not really sure why somebody hasn't jumped on that. But you need an active board who really cares about the town to get those things going.
Now, for about a year and a half, they were paying 2 extra clerks to scan documents into a computer for the purposes of public access. None of that happened. So that's a year and a half of wasted salary, 2 of them. So look at that, all that waste. That all is pinned on Russell too. And I didn't even mention that. I don't know how much that would be. I don't know how much they were making. But it absolutely went to nothing.
Yeah, like I said, the people love to continue to talk garbage and file lawsuits and do ridiculous things. We left the town. We're trying to live our lives, but they just don't want to leave us alone, making up stories, lies, and now I wish they would just live their own lives.
Now, some people say, well, why do you keep talking about it then? Well, because it still affects our life. We're still involved in it. So until that, and there's a lot of people that still want our take on things, because she did have a unique perspective, because she knew all the players and she worked in town hall and she was the mayor. And so there's a lot of inner workings that you don't see on, like, when other people discuss everything that's going on in Otter Creek, but they've never stepped in Otter Creek and will never come to Otter Creek. They just want, they just want to be part of of whatever that is. So we can speak to it, and it's okay to dedicate one video a month explaining what we understand about what's happening on the agenda and in the meeting, because of her unique perspective to it.
I have the right to talk about anything I want to talk about.
It's your channel, Madam Mayor's Adventures. So if we want to dedicate a video or two to that through the election, and if it gets stupid, we'll keep
You're right,
covering
Kathy.
it.
That's a good soapbox.
That's a
Proper
soapbox.
footwear when climbing ladders is important. You tell them.
People got on me for wearing Crocs. It wasn't far I could fall. I could only fall to the wall behind me.
You know how Metro, they are not going to listen. So I was cracking up when I'm reading all these comments about the Crocs, because I'm like, from your lips to God's ears, because he ain't going to listen to me.
Hey, Crocs are comfortable. I love them. I love Crocs.
OSHA violation at its finest.
We ain't got no OSHA coming out here, not to the cabin.
Let me get my clipboard. I'm going to write you up some infractions.
So, I mean, yeah, I should probably been wearing
Life is too short. You
shoes.
got to laugh and have fun.
And if I'm on a high ladder outside of, the furthest I could have fell is about half the distance of that ladder, because then I would have hit the wall and stopped, because it was pinned right against the wall, like kind of like this. So I would have fell 4 or 5 rungs down and then hit the wall. It wouldn't have felt good, but
yeah, his Crocs have no traction either, because that tread is what
out.
Little bit of tread they come with, way worn out.
Yeah.
So you don't even want to see the bottoms of those.
That's the old Florida in us, I guess. We wear Crocs everywhere, except at church. We put shoes on to go to church. And we wear shoes at the gym, because then we have to go run.
A spawn trooper says you might need to strap a parachute on you next time you go up the ladder. Probably not a bad idea. Yeah, he's freaking y'all out the whole time. I literally pray the whole time he's up on that ladder, because I don't know, even all the stories you hear about people as they get older that get up on ladders, or they get up on the roof and they're cleaning out the gutters or hanging their Christmas lights and they fall off the roof. I know the pastor at Meadowbrook, when he was hanging up Christmas lights and cleaning out the gutters, he fell off his roof and had some very bad damage. But
you want to show our fans, since so many people want to see the fan working. Hold on.
You better have some kind of light. It's dark over there.
Yeah, I know.
But yeah, I spend the whole time praying, because I'm like, oof. And then he likes to bounce on the ladder, and I'm like, oh my goodness.
All right, I'm going to steal your camera.
Out.
You let me know when I'm on it there.
I see couch.
Yep, hold on. I got to move the light.
Look at my beautiful bag. Now go up. There it is.
Whoop,
That's the
there it
fan
is.
in action.
Whoop, there it is.
There it is. Whoop, there it is. Boom, shaka laka, shaka laka. About to get the party started up in here.
That camera's pretty good. I like it.
Well, that's great. Would you like to buy it? I'll sell it to you.
No, it's not exactly straight, is it?
Now we're all crooked over here.
There we go.
Oh my goodness. But yep, that's our fan.
That's our fan. I'm a fan of the fan.
That's good. You should be.
And it's got a little remote control, and it's got 6 speeds in each direction, forward and back.
Now all we need is a disco ball.
But so far, all we've ever done is put it on forward on speed 1. So all we're doing is pushing the air down from
A bungee.
and it circulates.
And we could have some real fun.
It's way up there, though. I mean, it's a good 15 feet in the air.
You wouldn't catch me up there. I always just got a little fan on a stand and called it a day.
I think that's a 22-foot extension.
Need that
ladder,
disco
and it was
ball,
all the
put
way
on
up.
some KC and the Sunshine Band.
Mhm.
Could have a real party up in here.
Who do y'all like for the Super Bowl? I absolutely don't like either team, so don't care.
So are you not going to have a Super Bowl party?
I was pulling for Washington, my old Redskins, but they lost to the Eagles pretty bad, so they're out. But they had a great season.
Spawn Trooper says if you get a bungee, he's on his way over.
Hey, I got bungees out in the garage. Let's go.
You want to tie them together?
Yeah.
Safety first. Matthew says Eagles.
Eagles?
Yep. I'll be
I'm
cheering on the Eagles.
I'm kind of leaning that way. I'm trying to find a reason to kind of.
Michael says, who's playing? That's what I said when he asked me.
So it's Kansas City, which with Kansas City, here's my bias with them.
I'm seeing a lot of Eagles. Anyone but Kansas City.
Yeah, I'm tired. Here's the reasons I don't like the two teams. And
everybody's saying Eagles.
I probably don't like the Eagles a little bit less than I don't like Kansas City. Kansas City gets favoritism with the officiating, obviously, and then the whole Kelsey thing with what's the singer's name?
Swift.
Taylor Swift. I'm tired of that whole crap. Who cares?
So you're not a Swiftie?
No. She can sing, no doubt. But I'm not. I don't know why it's all this, because she can sing. Good.
Everybody does all that. If everybody got that excited about Jesus as they do about anything else, this would be a phenomenal world, wouldn't it?
I mean, she has a good voice, but it's not, to me, it doesn't do all that for me.
Well, it doesn't matter. Even the most beautiful person with the most beautiful voice, no matter how much money, they should never be celebrated more than Jesus.
Right.
Like, come on.
Right. They should be using their platform to push Christianity. So, but they don't. Most of them don't. So anyway, that's my biases on Kansas City. For the Eagles, it's just their fans. Their fans are rude. The Phillies fans are rude. Like the baseball team, the Phillies fans, they're always throwing stuff on the field and boo and hit, and they're just a bunch of bullies. I think the Eagles fans are notoriously just terrible. I'm
gonna go for Eagles on this one.
There's always fights in their stands with the opposing team if someone's visiting and they're fans of the other team.
Yeah, that's a good song. Take it easy.
They should be a good host.
Those are the Eagles.
You can root your Eagles, but don't bash the other team. Just root for your Eagles, and that's it. That's it. And then the other team, if they're going, yay, let them go, yay. They're paid to get there. They paid their ticket. They bought their seat. They're watching the same game you are. Let them cheer their team.
I like Karen's logic.
But,
love the Eagles. I have their records.
How about college basketball? We can talk a little bit about that, but I won't go into it because that's not really our format. That's not our forum. But, hey, at least Tennessee avenged the former loss to Florida. They whooped them yesterday. So good. Good news for that. So we'll see what the rankings come out tomorrow. But they did lose some games that they shouldn't have lost. They had number 1 ranked Auburn on the ropes at home, and they lost by 2 points. That's a good game. Wish it had happened. Wish it had a different result. But then they lost one to Vanderbilt. Like, you shouldn't be losing to Vanderbilt. Those are games you're supposed to win. But at least they avenged the Gator loss. So that should help them. And then they lost to somebody else. I didn't think they should have lost to them either. I forgot who. Oh, Kentucky. They should have beaten Kentucky at home, and they lost to Kentucky. So that's one they're going to have to go to Rupp Arena in Kentucky later and beat them there, and that's going to be harder. But we'll see what happens. They have a good team. They're a top 10 team, and Joe Lunardi has them on the 3 line for a 3 seed in the NCAA tournament. I hope they can improve upon that, and we'll see what happens. That's all I have to say on college basketball.
Well, Spawn Trooper, I grew up near Miami, and my dad was a Miami Dolphins guy, so I have all that stuff because I had to grow up in the Miami Dolphins household. We used to go to the parades and watch Dolphin Denny, so sorry, you're going to have to be a little jelly. I got more Miami Dolphins stuff than you. I love their colors, too.
The colors, yeah.
The Miami Dolphin colors.
I thought the Dolphins and the Redskins actually had the prettiest logos in the NFL. I did. Now the Dolphins changed theirs a little bit, but not that much. It's still a dolphin, but it's not the dolphin with the helmet on it. It's the dolphin.
Yeah, I like the old logo way
I
better.
kind of like the old one a little bit better, but I love the Redskins old logo a lot better. I think Washington Commanders, it's okay, but it just
I still call them the Redskins.
I still do too. I've got Redskins stuff. I got a hat. I got a jacket. They're still Redskins to me. I know they probably will never change the name back. There's a lot of talk about it, but I just don't think they're going to do it.
I remember even when I was in 5th grade, my teacher loved the Dolphins, and they were really good that year. So she used to always bring in cakes every time they won a game that was in a shape of a helmet with the Dolphins logo. So we had big Dolphins parties at school.
And you probably
Good
ask
times.
why am I a Redskins fan? It's because I grew up in Virginia, only about 80 or 90 miles from DC, and they used to their practice field used to be in Northern Virginia, so their field is right there near Virginia.
Yep, Dan
They're
Marino was quarterback back
right
in
across
the
the
day.
Potomac River from Virginia. So Virginia has always considered them a home team, although Virginia doesn't have a team. So I just grew up because that's what I grew up watching. I had a Redskin helmet.
When I was in elementary school, I got to meet Dan Marino, and it was a big day for me.
I never once went to any of their games though. Just didn't. But I was a Redskin fan. I guess I kind of still am.
Well, that was our big walk down memory lane.
And then I kind of followed Virginia and Virginia Tech too a little bit in college. But I've kind of gotten disappointed with their, other than Virginia winning the national championship. That was probably a fluke. They'll probably never win again. But I liked the coach that they had then, and I liked his defense strategy. And so for that, I embraced Virginia's road to the championship. And then I like Virginia Tech's aggressive play, but I just don't follow them much anymore. If I look at scores, I look to see if they won or not, but I don't watch them closely. Tennessee now is who I'm watching closely. I like to watch, and we don't have ESPN, so we don't get to see their games.
Nancy wants to know what part of Virginia you are from.
Ashland, just north of Richmond, about that far near King's Dominion theme park, little town of Ashland. Now, we weren't in Ashland, but we had an Ashland address. We lived about 5 miles out in the country on a 70-acre farm in Ashland, technically in Ashland. I went to school, though, in high school in Mechanicsville. It's a 45-minute bus ride back in the day. Now, they have closer schools there now, but not then. It was the Lee Davis Confederates. Changed the name again. I know. It's Mechanicsville High School now. It's stupid.
Spawn Trooper says, what about them San Francisco 49ers? He says, what about them?
What about them?
They're no Dolphins.
They represent the wrong state. I like it when they beat Dallas because I hated the Cowboys. And I lived in Texas a long time, but I could never be a Cowboys fan because I was a Redskin fan. You can't be both. And then in Florida, I never could get behind the Gators because I just didn't like Gainesville. That was my taste of the Gators.
I like the Florida Seminoles.
And then a couple of times we moved a motorcycle for a guy who was a student at the University of Florida. And I asked him, what made you decide to go to the University of Florida? He goes, because the Gators, it's a cool mascot. You know, the Gators.
He probably loved Tim Tebow.
It was like, is that why? Tim Tebow is probably the best thing that happened in Florida.
Yeah, and I'm a fan of Tim Tebow.
Yeah.
I like him, but I'm not a Gators fan. I'm a Seminoles fan.
I don't really care for the Gator Nation mentality, and the people of Gainesville are just kind of rude. The traffic, you know, when you're riding, you know, they just cut you off and flip. I just don't like it. So that whole area of Florida, I just didn't like it. That's all. And so, in a general nutshell, I have more negative things to say about the area than I have positive. So I moved.
Right on.
There's better places to live, and I think we found it right here.
Right on, brother.
Right here in Tennessee.
Woo.
So far, we haven't found anything about Tennessee we don't like. Have you?
There's probably one thing.
There's probably something. I mean,
I can't think of it right at the moment, but
yeah, I can't think of it. Everybody's been friendly. Nobody's flipped us off. Nobody's cut us off. People have actually let us out. We've let other people out. It's nice when everybody gets along. I don't know. I think it's been a great move for us. And then it puts us in a good geographic area to be able to go travel to support Madam Mayor's adventures. So that was the plan. To move to Tennessee, be centrally located, and be able to go out and come back, reset, go out, come back, reset, go out, come back, reset. That was the plan.
yes, it's very peaceful. And I was just thinking about that a lot over this past week, is how much more at peace I feel now compared to when I lived in Otter Creek. And it's just night and day.
It's night and day. It's like living in Miami or living in the hills of Utah.
And I feel
totally different.
So at peace. Everything is better. Health, everything. It's absolutely peaceful in comparison to living in Otter Creek. It was rough.
I mean, the worst part really is Otter Creek doesn't offer anything. And then the next town is Chiefland. Other than a Walmart, they don't really offer anything. I mean, they don't.
The Walmart in Chiefland?
Other than a Walmart, that's all they offer. That's not saying much. They don't have a Publix.
I never liked that store.
They don't have an Aldi's. They have, for grocery, they only have Winn-Dixie, which is through the roof, or is it over the roof in prices. They have a Walmart, which everybody from the Tri-County area goes to that Walmart, so just imagine. And then a Save-A-Lot, which that's not quality food. That's just cheap food. And not that much cheaper. It's like Walmart food. So they don't have a lot of the places we like. When we went into Gainesville, we would hit Lowe's, we would hit Sam's Club.
I liked Ocala.
We would hit Publix. They had everything that we liked. They had an Aldi's. And here, nearby in Tullahoma, guess what? It's a small community, 27,000 people. It's bigger than Chiefland, but not much bigger. But they have a Lowe's. They have a Aldi's. They have a Publix. And then we have our bank there. And, I mean, they're all within a quarter of a mile of each other. You can see each one of them from the other parking lot.
Yeah, our neighbors here are nice.
They're wonderful.
So I do love it here.
Yeah, I mean, there's nothing bad about it. Living in the hills of Tennessee
is what's good for me.
It's what's good for me.
Woo-hoo.
Go Vols.
So I guess that about wraps it up.
That's all I got.
Let these fine people get on with their day.
That's right. We
Thank
might
you.
We might have to close some windows.
I know.
We had the windows open.
It's getting a little chilly now.
We might have to lock them back down.
But thank you all so much for joining us on this lovely, beautiful day.
Yep.
Hope you enjoy this week. I'm sure there's going to be good weather wherever you're at. It's got to be better than what it's been.
We're supposed to hit 70s.
So get out there
week.
and
70s.
enjoy it and show everybody some love and smiles. Thank you all for joining us today. Thank you so much for our members. We'll see you at some point this week when we hang out with you on our live.
Yeah.
And thank you to all our subscribers. We appreciate your support and your love. And
maybe we can get that pontoon boat out on the lake and we can
that would be so much fun. I'm hoping we do that this week for sure. Go on a hike and really get outside and enjoy this gorgeous
That's
weather.
why we moved here. Tennessee
So
is
gorgeous.
full of parks and trails like in abundance, and lakes and caverns, and it's just got everything. If you like the outdoors, Tennessee's where it's at.
So wherever you're at, get outside and enjoy the weather. We love you guys, and we'll see you next week.
Yep.
Unless you're
Thanks,
on
guys.
the members, and then we'll see you sometime this week. Lots of love. Take care of each other.
Bye, guys.
Bye.